I found a box of birth control pills in my widowed mother-in-law's room. I replaced the birth control pills with ordinary stomach medicine. The reason was simple: since my mother-in-law always wanted to hold a grandchild, why not have one herself? Later, Mrs. Thompson from next door confronted my mother-in-law, throwing a bank card at her. "This is the payment for giving birth to a child for our family." Update. I don't know how I made it back to the hospital room, then left the hospital and returned home as if nothing had happened. My heart had turned cold, and the flames of revenge were consuming me. I destroyed the files on the USB drive, then went straight to my mother-in-law's room and replaced the birth control pills I had found earlier with ordinary stomach medicine. The Parker family wouldn't get away with this easily. Back in college, Ryan had pursued me relentlessly, saying, "With you by my side, I'll never look at another woman." I thought I had married for love. But now I realized, if a woman truly believes a man's sweet talk, she's nothing but a fool. Just like I used to be. Don't expect too much from marriage. It's just two people living together. If you treat him as your true love, you're bound to be disappointed. It's better to treat him as an ordinary roommate, only then can you find a small wildflower in the midst of ugly reality. However, I wouldn't divorce Ryan easily. Because the real show was about to begin. My mother-in-law's appetite grew larger and larger. When she filled her rice bowl for the third time at the dinner table, Ryan put down his chopsticks. "Mom, why are you eating so much lately?" His mother also put down her bowl and chopsticks. "What's wrong? You think your mother eats too much? You think I'm wasting your money?" Ryan shook his head helplessly. His mother looked at me. "I'm old, and I eat more than Olivia. It shows that my body is stronger than hers." "Her? Humph, she can't even have half a child. I'm not a pig, why should I have to give birth?" Whenever his mother targeted me like this, Ryan would pretend to be busy, not getting involved in the conflict. If it were the old me, I would have put down my chopsticks and argued with her. But now, I just smiled sheepishly and apologized to my mother-in-law. "You're right, your body is much better. You look like you could still have children." I acted humbly. "Eh? What are you talking about, child?" she said. "Olivia, how can you talk to mom like that?" Ryan chimed in. They spoke simultaneously, their angry expressions identical. I was laughing inside, but on the outside, I maintained a look of terror. Suddenly, my mother-in-law pushed her chair back and rushed to the bathroom. Then came the sound of violent vomiting, so terrible it seemed as if she might throw up her internal organs. I drew in a sharp breath, and suggested to Ryan that we should take his mother to the hospital for a checkup. He nodded in agreement. There was silence in the car on the way to the hospital. I abruptly spoke up. "Mom, your symptoms are like those of pregnancy." My mother-in-law, looking pale, just coldly snorted. "Mom, there's a legend in our hometown," I continued. "They say that long ago, a woodcutter ate the egg of the snake god. The snake god, filled with resentment, cursed the woodcutter's mother to become pregnant continuously, giving birth one after another until she died from exhaustion." Ryan was driving and coldly looked at me through the rearview mirror. "Olivia, you have a master's degree. How can you talk about such things?" he said. I smoothed my skirt and smiled slightly, saying I was just making casual conversation. My mother-in-law leaned back in her seat, resting with her eyes closed. I stirred up more trouble. They say that since then, in our hometown, any woman who has an affair meets the same fate. My grandmother told me that people from our hometown carry this curse wherever they go. Ryan got angry and honked the horn repeatedly, signaling me to shut up. I looked at his mother. Her closed eyelids were trembling slightly, and the back of her interlocked hands had turned blue, a sign of nervousness. My goal achieved, I stopped talking. The rest of the journey to the hospital was silent. While waiting for the results, my mother-in-law's anxiety was visibly increasing. When her number was called, she wanted to go in alone, but Ryan, looking incredulous, led the way in. We too followed behind. The doctor pushed up his glasses and said, "Advanced maternal age, pregnancy not recommended." Ryan leaned back and laughed loudly. "Don't joke with us, doctor. My mom is over 50, and my dad passed away 2 years ago. How could she be pregnant?" "We never joke about such matters," the doctor replied sternly. "Then you must have mixed up the reports," Ryan insisted. Seeing the doctor's serious expression, Ryan's laughter faded away. "Whose is it? Whose?" Ryan shouted at his mother in the hospital corridor. His mother sat on a rest chair, her eyes red-rimmed, wiping tears with a handkerchief. She stammered,